Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another episode of The Chocolate Factory with Blane Chocklett. How you doing, Blane?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. How's everything on the struggle bus?
You know, I'm still driving it, keeping it between the mustard and the mayonnaise, you know?
But you did upgrade your rig, right? You got a new truck.
I did, man. It's the best vehicle I've ever owned. Brand new Tundra, courtesy of Stephen Toyota up in Harrisonburg. Good buddy of mine, Corey Sotokoff, and the Toyota family, man. It's an amazing ride. I cannot believe I'm driving it now. It's, I've had that FJ for years and worked with them on and off over the past 10 years. And, Toyota and Stephen Toyota specifically stepping up to help me out with the new show that I'm working on. Hopefully to start production here in the next month or two. So you'll see a lot of that truck, and sure a lot of people will be jealous because I know I am shocked that I'm driving this thing now. It's comfort, it's got a lot of room. It's beautiful color. It's pretty amazing. And plan on part of that show is driving it around with different boats and going to fish different fisheries and hosting someone that's amazing in their field of work. And I think it's going to be a really interesting approach to a TV style show, which is generally going to be on the internet. But it's a great concept. I think it's going to allow different people in different areas to be able to come and not just meet me, but meet whoever I happen to be having on that episode. And we're going to tie shops in with it. So it's going to be a really cool deal. It's going to be like a kind of live audience with podcast stuff. And there's a lot of moving parts to it, but I'll talk more about that later on. But I'm super excited about that. It's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just kind of got back relatively recently from spending a little bit of time up on Capitol Hill.
Yeah. Yep. So part of the other things that I'm doing now is putting a lot of time in with ASGA, which is American Saltwater Guides Association. They're the voice for all of us anglers that want to have better fisheries up and down the East Coast and moving into the Gulf states now. We're getting ready to move into Louisiana, fighting the good fight for redfish and speckled trout over there. But it's just amazing how I've seen fisheries kind of decline. I've seen fisheries recover. But in general, there's a lot of problems in the world, as we know, with different fisheries. And it all comes to policy, and I was invited to go up with ASGA to talk to senators and their aides and whatnot to be able to educate them on how they can make better policies and put pressure on the powers to be to make sure that what we're looking at the long-term picture, not looking at short-term answers, to make sure that our prime example is the new saltwater, the stripers that just came out with that call to action and trying to protect that 2015 striped bass population. That's really was an incredible stock. They had a really good spawn during 2015, and those fish have matured to be over 31 inches now. And those fish have been in peril the past few years due to certain regulations. And we were able to get the voices heard with over 5,000 comments that we had done, and a lot of the big companies in the fishing industry stepped up. So, that makes a difference. And me going and talking and putting in my face to some of the aides and senators and House Representatives and all this stuff, and giving them the answers to questions they may not know or not be educated on. It's a big deal. I've never been in politics before. It was an honor to be able to be on Capitol Hill and be in those offices and see how the government really works. We see on TV every day, but it's definitely, it was an eye-opening experience for me. Something I'll hopefully be able to go back over and over to make sure that I'm representing the fishing community, specifically the fly fishing community, and we're all in it together and we all want the same thing. And it's just for me, I was educated, like a real fast education on how things work, and being able to set on some of these boards and listen in to some of these meetings. It's been a huge eye opener, and it's important. I mean, I've fished and made money off of our fisheries for 30 years, and it's time to get back and make sure that all the upcoming guides and anglers get to see some of the things that I've got to see. It's important. That's one of the most important things I can do now is on the platform that I have, is to make sure that we have a healthy fishery no matter where it is. And that's a big plan moving forward for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know also too, probably right before that, you were out with the guys at TFO, chasing redfish, shooting some marketing materials for a new rod that's coming out.
Yeah. So not giving up areas, but was able to get out with TFO and some good buddies. And we were able to, the past, I don't know, year, I've been testing this new rod that's coming out here, I think in June. It's called the Blitz. It's a beautiful colored rod. It's kind of gone away from the traditional colors that TFO's always had. And this, if you can imagine, it's kind of a greenish blue blank that kind of looks like a false albacore's back. It's really pretty rod. And it got a lot of work out over the past year. I've fished everything from stripers to albies, redfish from Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina. It's been all over. I've taken it different places. Next week, I'll be up in New York with it, doing some continuation of some of the marketing that we're going to be doing on some stripers up there. But, recently, the past couple of weeks, we were able to target redfish that were averaging over 50 inches using the 10 weight, and it performed flawlessly on that. It got a true workout. It was as many redfish in that 50 plus pound range that you could imagine casting to. I mean, it's literally casting hundreds of thousands of redfish. They were, like I said, averaging 50 inches long. And 10 weight did never had any struggles with it. We were able to land them quickly, healthy. So it's going to be a great series for TFO. It hits a really nice price point. It's unbelievable. There's no way you could be able to convince me that there's a better rod on the market in that price range. And I think, not sure, I'm probably speaking ahead of myself here, but I think it's going to be like that mid 250 range, which is phenomenal for what this rod is. I mean, it really is. So hat goes out to TFO for putting some amazing stuff out there. You have recoiled guides, just like my Big Fly and the A2X. I think the Blitz is a great name for it, and some of the marketing content that we have coming out is going to be phenomenal, because truly the aerials we got with the drone stuff for the shoot that we did a couple weeks ago was National Geographic stuff. I mean, you're literally looking at hundreds of thousands of redfish that are over 50 inches that we're casting to. It's going to be amazing. And the rod itself, for the price point it is, and how it handled those big fish, and you're able to subdue them, deliver the fly to them at the right time with ease, and be able to fight the fish where they're still healthy at a good release. It's all you can ask for in a rod. I mean, rods, in my opinion, have always been tools, and this is going to be another tool to put in my quiver.
Got it. And so I understand kind of the value proposition. Is it also too that it's lighter and stronger at a particular weight, so it's less fatiguing for the angler?
It is. Yep. Very lightweight. Look at all that stuff. When you start getting new resins available, tapers are always going to be tapers, but resins and stuff are kind of the secret to the sauce. There's only so many graphites on the market, so it's all about how it's laid out, and and the resins that are used to put it all together. It makes the big difference here. And this rod feels light in your hands, so if you're casting big flies or small flies, you don't get that fatigue that you get with super stiff stuff. I've always said super stiff rods are great if you're just casting a little bit, but if you're throwing a lot of flies throughout the day, say like bass fishing, just repetition casting, hitting targets, that's not the type of rod that you want. You want something that can absorb and have a little bit more feel, so your body doesn't feel that fatigue. This rod has that in it, and that's a lot to do with some of the resins that help it recoil a little bit not just fast, but in a way that it doesn't recoil so fast that you can't catch up to it, and that's a big problem. This rod handles sinking lines really well. Has a really nice stiffer butt just above the cork, where you could really put a lot of wood to the fish. I was really impressed with that. Like I said, man, for the price point that this rod's going to be marketed as and sold as, it's a high end feel and a high end action, but we had a very nice, beautiful price point for a lot of people that they can get into a beautiful rod without, selling off the house to get it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't cost $1,000 or $1,200.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's awesome. And I know you're getting ready to hit the road. I think you mentioned you're going to go fish for stripers. Is that your trip with the Costa Boys?
It is. No, the striper, it's two parts. The first part of the first leg is in New York fishing for stripers to finish up the marketing side of the Blitz. Hopefully we'll get in some maybe blues and stripers up there blitzing to kind of piece it all together. We got redfish blitzing. So we kind of wanted to get some stripers and blues, and never know, could maybe run into something else. But we're gonna get some more of that footage. I'll be there for a couple of days, and I'm flying from New York to Boston and heading over to the Cape to do some of the more conservation minded stuff with the Cheeky tournament, which is always that tournament benefits striped bass. So we always try to get more awareness there. So I'll be there with Yeti and Costa to try to bring more awareness to striped bass in that community and raise more money so we can fight the good fight, and be able to go to DC and try to educate our policymakers a little bit more. So it's all interconnected. So get to do the fishing side of it instead of the policy making side of it this time. And hopefully we'll run into some bigger stripers because things are moving a little faster this year. I do know that they've lost some of the stripers in New York and they started migrating north. So I might hit it perfect and get to fish good sized stripers, not only in New York now, or next week, but also the end of next week up in the Cape. I know the schoolies will be there, but hopefully we'll have some bigger fish. That 2015 year class should be showing up there right around when I get there as well. So, and those fish are all in that 30 to 36 inch range, which are all beautiful, healthy, vibrant fish. So that's why we protect it, so we can go have fun and catch them and put them back so they can get bigger, make more babies.
Yeah, there you go. And I know in June, right, you're heading to the West Coast with to be with your friends at Loon, right?
Yeah, I am. So, yeah, I get back, the end of next week, the end of May, and I'll be around here for a little bit, through June, doing some different projects and whatnot. And the end of June, I'm flying to California to do some stuff with Loon, visit some fly shops, working on some products with Loon in the tying realm and the fishing side of stuff, and also going to be doing some content stuff with them, some short film stuff, me tying, but also in fishing. Pretty cool concept because a lot of people don't realize it, but California is home of the swim baits, especially the big swim baits, and some of the huge largemouth bass that's caught all over the world now on swim baits was developed in California. And a big part of my fishing and designs have been based off swim baits. So we're going to kind of connect the dots there, and me come out and fish with a swim bait guy that's developed swim baits, and we're going to kind of be talking heads there and fishing together. And I think it'll be a really interesting little short film for people to kind of connect the dots to the conventional world and the fish, and then now in the fly fishing with the flies that I've created with the Game Changer platform.
Yeah, very, very neat. And I also know too, you've got some pretty cool limited edition stuff in your store.
Yeah. Yep. So a friend of mine, Corey Ruth, down in Virginia Beach, started working with leather several years ago. Started making these unbelievable sheaths for pliers, and got him to do some Game Changer versions of that. And we got a limited run coming. Pre-sold about half of them now, and have half left. So I'm supposed to get those. I'm supposed to be shipping those today. So I should have them first part of next week, and you'll be able to see those on the website along with, new stuff coming, t-shirts, hats. Still have some of the sweatshirts and sun hoodies left over. So if you're interested in the Game Changer logo or whatnot, I mean, these leather holster sheaths are phenomenal. They really are. And I was able to work with Loon and the new pliers that they came out with this year that I think I've been testing them for over a year now, and they've done really well. They cut wire well. They cut mono obviously really well. You can take hooks in and out of fish, pinch pliers, barbs down or whatever you need. But they're super light. They fit the sheaths super well, and they look nice. So that in itself, I think it's a great bargain, and it's kind of a limited deal, so they're not going to be available very often. We'll see how this goes, but I don't know if we'll do another run that looks just like this. So it could just be a one-off, right? So first come, first serve on that. And I've loved their pliers, and I've Corey been sending me these sheaths for quite a while, and I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, his work is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, we love questions at the Articulate Fly. If you have something that you want Blane and I to cover, just hit either of us up on social media or shoot me an email. We'd love to answer your questions. And it's a great time of year, right? It hasn't gotten crazy hot yet. Even some places in the country don't even really know that it's quite spring yet. And you owe it to yourself to get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Blane.
Thanks, you too.